Make magic. Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of the internet. Happy Friday. Good Friday to you for my people out there. And to that, guys, Coach Kyle Evans here, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Maps coach, bold coach, all the things. Getting to hang out with you every morning for your daily checkup from the neck up. Today, in theme with Good Friday, we're going to be talking about some things, man. We're going to be diving into a little mindset. If you're working today, awesome. If you're with your family today, awesome. This one's for all of you out there. Guys, I call this one open to change, ready to transform. Listen, transformation isn't a tweak. It's not a touch up. It's a death and a rebirth. Most people stay stuck not because they don't want to change, but because they're not willing to let go of who they've been. And do I have a guest for you today? This lady is an absolute dynamo, a gangster of business, just constantly growing, constantly taking obstacles and swiping them out of her way on her path to greatness, on her journey of transformation. And I have the pleasure, the privilege, and the honor to call this person friend. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Kris Romandetti.
Hey there, friends. Thank you for that beautiful introduction. You're too kind. Good morning. Happy Good Friday.
Happy Good Friday to you.
It's a great Friday.
It
because I'm
is,
home
Kris.
for a hot minute.
So check this out, man. You've been on the show before, and yet for those of the people who don't have the privilege of knowing you yet, why don't you tell them a little bit about you?
Yeah, super quick. So I actually live in Florida. I am a MAPS Bold coach. I am an agent. I guess we call it a mega agent now in our days. I'm a rainmaker and have a team here. I also am an OP in Calgary, Canada. So my family would tell you that I'm way more Canadian because I say sorry and process and all of those things. And I talk lots of things about different things. So yeah, that's a little bit of me. We do real estate in all places.
The Queen in the North, ladies and gentlemen.
North, yeah.
She has definitely opened my eyes to the great country up yonder and made some great relationships and introduced me, man. So, guys, as always, your network is your net worth. Who are you surrounding yourself with?
Yeah, listen, regardless of any perspective, right? Canadians are amazing and they're just such good humans. I never really knew what polite meant until I spent the last multiple years coaching in Canada. It's so different. So I'm so honored to be part of their worlds.
See, guys, here's the thing. Like I said, transformation, being open to change, being open to new experiences, new relationships, new ways of thinking, new cultures, new processes, as Kris likes to say these days.
Sounds so much more fun.
So much more fun. Guys, we're going to talk about transformation today, man. Transformation doesn't ask for your permission. It asks for your surrender. Are you open to that? Kris, what does transformation mean to you?
Kyle, I just have to share this story. So yeah. I was thinking about it on the plane last night coming home about exactly this. What were we going to talk about? What would show up in our worlds? And you and I are sort of twins and stuff just shows up, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm doing second step to Bold in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And when I tell you that launch has been one of our most fascinating launches, like we're rewriting their stories and all of the things. And I walk in and we are in the most beautiful church for step one. So this was not this week, last week. We're in this church for step one. It is absolutely incredible. And not gonna lie, I didn't feel that comfortable being up in the pulpit, anointing all my bold friends, right? And I went down and did it out of the pulpit. and I'm going to leave that space for the respected owner of it. And I told a story about, well, we were talking about boundaries and choices, right? It's, it's our favorite section in step one, how they define us, how it's our responsibility, how they're empowering, all of the things, how they're not in a vacuum. Like choices show up differently for everyone. And one of the things that I was driving home was the fact that boundaries are choices. And sometimes that shows up in our life, even with family, right? Toxic relationships happen everywhere. And yet I live by the creed that if it doesn't bring me joy, I don't do it. And that comes down to relationships too. So I shared a moment with the room to connect with them about, hey, sometimes we have to put boundaries where our family are. And I've had to do it with my sister to protect my joy and all of the things. And that's a choice that I live with right now. And I'm fine with it. And we haven't talked in quite some time, a good probably year and a half. And we have the moment, we leave. I go travel home. Birmingham to Charlotte, Charlotte to Melbourne. I get delayed in Charlotte. They wouldn't give me my luggage on the jet bridge. So we had the whole happiness is a choice, which in all full transparency, I wasn't choosing happiness at that moment. I was choosing all the other things because I got to walk 3 miles to get my suitcase there and back. Got it. All is well. I'm a little bit fumed over it. And I'm standing in front of the lounge, checking myself in because there's a wait, storm and weather everywhere. And I feel someone. Have you ever felt someone in your space?
Okay.
Like you're not looking. I was looking down at my phone, and yet I knew that this person was sort of creeping my space. And I was about to look up and say, lady, the QR code is right on the other side. You have plenty of space to go around me. And it was my sister.
Whoa. Curveball.
In the Charlotte airport, by the way, of all airports in the nation, she was standing in front of me with a suitcase. And she goes, oh my God, I can't believe it's you. I go, oh my God. Like, are you coming or going? She said, I'm going. I'm going home. I've been here for a day or two. I said, awesome. Are you on the 10:30 to Melbourne? And she said, yes, I am. Like, awesome. She's on my plane too. So I was going into a lounge and I said, do you have access to this lounge? And she says, no. I said, okay, I'll see you on the flight. No big deal. And then she said, well, maybe there's a guest pass. I'll check. And I go upstairs and
never came back down.
There's a guest pass because I'm going to do the right thing. Like I'm still human. I felt compelled. It was my choice. And that, to your point, that's true. I could have chosen just to say no guest passes. And yet I'm not going to lie about it. So I asked, what's the guest pass? They said $50. I text my sister and say, it's $50. She goes, I'll pay it. I can't get out of it. And while we can't control our first thought, we can't control our second. And my first thought was, shoot, how do I get out of this? And my second thought was, okay, I just brought this story up in a church today to an entire room talking about choices. Maybe this is my moment.
Boom.
And I brought her up. And we sat there for 3 hours. While it wasn't superficial conversation, it was a path to reconnection.
Sure.
And it was that path to transformation. So when I was in the room this past week, yesterday, I told that story and the room gasped. I said, guys, if you're not open to transformation and if you're not aware when it's happening, you might miss it. And this was a Godsmack right in my face. Like of all airports, my sister was right there. So I told him, write it down. Transformation. Awareness is transformational.
It asked not for your permission, but for your surrender. Kris, good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is why I hang out with these people. Like, this is someone who is telling you the authentic truth, not something that sounds good in a book, not something that should be on a t-shirt, someone who is on the journey, arm in arm with you, practicing the thought process, practicing the mindset, practicing the hard work. Guys, and I'm sure Kristen can agree with this, transformation feels like chaos before it feels like clarity.
And I couldn't help but think of the choice that our choices are never in a vacuum, right? And that choice to just say, hey, I'll see you on the plane, peace out. Like, I have a niece, my sister's daughter. We're very close. I love her. And yet I don't go to baseball games because I make a choice not to be around all the people.
Sure.
And this was an opportunity to sort of grow and heal. So when she texted me, she said, did you block me from Facebook? She was trying to post something that we had talked about and tag me in it. And listen, friends, y'all know if you can't see it in bold, you're blocked. And she goes, oh my gosh, on Instagram too? Like, and my text starts blowing up. She said, I don't understand. I thought we were, starting to work through things. And I said, listen, I blocked you long before our run-in in Charlotte. And no, I haven't had time, nor did I make a choice to go back and unblock you. Right. I said, because I'm still struggling with why we're here. And she showed up very differently in that moment. And she said, I'm struggling too. Could we get together and talk about the miscommunication? There wasn't judgment. There wasn't a hammer. There wasn't, let me tell you all the things. It was just that simple sentence that actually has softened my heart. And I'm open to the yes. I'm open to the conversation. And I haven't been there, in full transparency, in easily 2 years.
I'm going to go grab something. It's on my wall. It's a picture I have on my wall that I think is the personification of everything you're talking about.
Yeah, get it. Then I can see all of your merch in the background.
This picture right here. It is one of the most moving sculptures that I know of. And it's what I find usually is the truth about most human relationships. You have two adults back to back, angry, depressed, sad, hurt, betrayed, whatever, insert emotion here. But truly on the inside, all we really are is kids longing for connection.
Love that.
And it's like it took both of you to have to be surrendering to the transformation, because if you surrendered to it and then she was not about it or said things or kept on ego, pride, whatever, betrayed, angry, there never would have been the cohesion moment.
No. And it was a moment. And that's kind of where it resonated with me, that if, in full honesty, if it had happened and I was just coaching in a regular hotel room,
sure,
I don't think it would have hit me as hard. And yet I brought the story up in a church, and I am super faith-filled. And when the moments are there, if we don't grab them, like, is success on the other side. So all of the things that we do when we talk about how successful will your business be, how successful would you desire to be, and all of those things, sometimes we just got to get right here. Life is an inside job. I mean, it's literally the 10 truths that we talk about, and every single one of them shows up if we're paying attention. And we get to change it. Like, I didn't give anyone the pen to write that story with my sister and me.
Sure.
I was owning it. And yet I compartmentalize like a champion. You ask anyone, I can compartmentalize the crud out of stuff, which I do with relationships to protect my joy. And coming into my half-century-old decade, as my husband likes to remind me, that will be happening in a short amount of time, we can be better.
Yeah.
We can do it differently. And yet it's a choice. And I feel pretty empowered by that choice because it's still mine.
Yeah. And you made it, which was awesome. And whether it turns into sunshine and rainbows or not, it's still giving yourself the hug that you needed, saying, hey, you know what? Worst case scenario, at least I was open to this.
Yeah. My son, who's 23, he's like, Mom, I think you guys should just go get drunk and hug it out. I'm like, there's that too. That works for some people. I have no judgment around it.
Champagne brunch, here we come, right? But like, there's three things about this, right? How to open yourself for the process. I know some of the people are like, man, I get this, but that sounds great. That's a her thing. I can't do that. I think number one is we have to identify first. Number two, we have to embrace the in-between. And number three, we have to let go to grow. But like number one, identify first. We got to ask the question, and Kristen did this. in the speed of thought in the moment. This doesn't have to be this huge, long spiritual journey you go on. It can be a quick choice. It says, who do I need to become? Who do I need to become to hold the life that I say I want?
Yeah.
In that moment, she asked herself that.
We talk about, would you agree about the conversations? Like, who are the most impactful conversations and people that you can talk to and conversations you can have? And yet the rest of that question can be that move your business forward, can be that moves you forward on your desire, on who you desire to become. That's how I think about that question. It's not, hey, how do I make money today? It's, whose life can I change today? And it might be yours with
more often than not, it is.
Yeah.
Dude.
Because guess what? Choices aren't in a vacuum.
That's right. Right. So you guys, you have to know, you have to identify, like Kristen practices stuff on a daily basis. So it was easier, or maybe I should say simpler, for her to identify the awareness of, hey, you know what? Maybe I need to put this down for a little bit, stop carrying it, and test the waters again. And I applaud your courage and your strength on that, because if we're being completely transparent, more often than not, we would say there's no guest passes.
Yeah.
Move along, Sally. But number two, the embrace the in-between. That's the tough part, bro. There's a gap between who you are and who you are becoming, or who you desire to be. And Kris, to her credit, embraced that gap. She was like, you know what? We're going to see where this goes.
Yeah. And how inauthentic would I be when I'm in a room with hundreds of people every single year, coaching all of this that we talk about, and I'm not walking in that truth? Like, literally, my superpower is my authenticity. And in full transparency, that was important. It was a lesson that the room gasped. One of the agents came up, she did a Bold 100, like, how awesome, in week 2, like, what, girl, you're crushing it. And she just started crying. And she said, your story made me realize the relationships that I get to fix.
Boom.
And that's why I love real estate. It touches all of the things. I get to be part of the journey. I get to coach sellers and buyers through their next chapter. And then the fact that I get to be a tiny part of changing someone's life. Like, we get to do this. And however, how much more impactful is it for us selfishly? Like, I'm just going to say it out loud. Selfishly, I pull from every single room. Sure. Every single one of those agents who participate in our bold rooms change my life. And it is awareness. It is opportunity. It is recognizing it everywhere and just being filled with a happy heart. And it's okay if it's not your time.
Sure.
Like, it's totally okay. And I'm going to not judge, and I'm going to give you grace on that. And yet, are your choices serving you at the highest level?
Yeah. That takes us to the last point on it. We got to let go to grow. Like, guys, not offering forgiveness or begrudging something or a situation is like being bit by a snake, and instead of healing from the poison, holding on to it.
Yeah.
Or chasing down the snake to let them know why it shouldn't have bit you in the first place.
Yeah.
We got to let it go. We got to let go to grow.
And would you agree that we love to control things so many times, and yet we can't? I mean, I lost my gallbladder 8 weeks ago, and people were like, you're in such a good mood about it.
I had to let go.
There's nothing I can do about it. Like, the biggest bummer was I didn't lose mad weight. Like, your gallbladder apparently doesn't weigh anything.
Enjoy that 3 ounces gone from your body.
Lost in Oregon, didn't lose a pound, darn it.
Oh my goodness. Guys, if this is resonating with you at all, I'm going to give you some homework here. And it goes like this. Ask yourself, what am I clinging to that no longer serves the future version of me? What am I clinging to that no longer serves the future version of me? Next question. What am I afraid to let go of, and why? What am I afraid to let go of, and why? And the last one, this one might be a hard one. What does full surrender look like? What does full surrender look like? Journal that, meditate on it, write some notes around it, and take the steps, man. Let go to grow. Guys, Kris and Romandetti, the just glue that's holding us all together here today, bringing us some wisdom, not from a fairy tale, but from actual real life scenario. Kris, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
What are some final thoughts or reflections for the audience on Good Friday?
So here's the thing that, like, when you were just going through those questions, resounding final thought: where belief lives, fear can't. And it applies to everything. We get to get out of our own way. If we believe we deserve it, people in our world deserve it. Guys, where belief lives, fear can't. It's a cool journey.
I love that you just ended with that exclamation point, especially the line, "We have to believe that we deserve it." Was coaching with a top agent the other day, and talking about the glass ceiling of achievement and things that are holding back this person. And I just simply asked a question. Do you believe that you deserve the success that you're seeking? What do you think the answer was?
I'm going to go with no.
No.
Yeah. So many are a no. It's where there's opportunity. And why wouldn't you deserve it? You're amazing. Everyone has value. And when we help people recognize that, there is no bigger reward, because everyone deserves greatness. Just step into yours, whatever that looks like. I love you, man.
Just punching people in the feels today. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of the internet, I got nothing else for you, man. That's about as pretty as it can get on a Friday. Do yourself a favor. Think about these things. Marinate on these things. Write them down. Don't put them on a shelf and never look at them again. That's not where growth happens. That's not where change happens. The cave that you're afraid to go into holds the treasure that you seek. Kris Romandetti.
You can do hard things, friends. You can do hard things.
Out of Melbourne, Florida, mega agent, bold coach, all the things. Love you, mean it. See you next time, ladies and gentlemen. Go have a great weekend.
Happy Easter, everyone.
Happy Easter.